Yeah, I need your permission. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, welcome. Just a quick review of the agenda before we get started today. We are going to have a quick presentation from Transitional Aged Youth Services with the YMCA. So we have a speaker that'll be presenting in a minute. And then we'll also hear an update from CityNet about how their nights and weekends shift is going with outreach on State Street. It won't be a comprehensive dive into with any data necessarily, but just an overview. We want to update the group. And some of our partners are on the call that might be interested in how that's going. And then we have just some general updates and information from SB Act in terms of a couple of meetings that are coming up, our walkabout in April that we hope that you all participate in, and just some general information. So that's our overview, and we can go ahead and get started. We have Danielle Sajovia with us from Transitional Aged Youth Programming. You want to go ahead and give a further or a better introduction, sorry.
Hi, yeah, my name is Danielle Segovia, and I am the Outreach Program Coordinator here with Youth and Family Services Channel Islands YMCA. And our program works specifically with transitional age youth. So that is young adults 17 to 24 who are experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity. And I have a very, very, very small little presentation that my supervisor made. So I'll share that with you guys. Can you guys see this? Okay, cool. So Haley Street Navigation Center is our new location. We just opened it up the last week of January, first week of February. And that's super cool because we were in Noah's Anchorage garage before. So this is my supervisor here in our main room, and this is funded by the Whimsy Fund and the Women's Fund. So here's a before picture. It was actually a boxing gym before, and the after picture, they did a great job. They have a beautiful mural. We have a shower, so we're able to offer clients the ability to shower if that is something that they need. It is being worked on right now, but we assume it will be fixed by this week. And then I'll very quickly go over the services that we offer. So basic needs is a really big one. We shower, as I mentioned. We can provide clients with a sandwich. We have been getting provided with snack bags from Adam's Angels, which a lot of clients have really been loving. We have a donation closet with clothes, and we have a partnership with Vans. So we get their donations weekly. So that's really cool. Clients can get like literally a new pair of Vans. Hygiene items, and just a safe place to be. We do case management with our clients, and we can work on education goals, employment. Housing is a really big one that we've been working with many people on these past few months, and connections to community organizations. So if there's anything that we can't do, we have connections like you guys and other people that we can refer the clients to for additional support. We do outreach, and we're increasing our outreach services this month. So we're partnering with SBCC, UCSB. We are tabling at the library, and I believe that our case managers have been going to the recent navigation centers like the Shower of Blessings, and I think they just did Alameda Park last week, and we're hoping to do those consistently from now on. We now have mental health support, something super cool that I'm excited about. We have clinical trainees at our Noah's Anchorage location, and we can refer our clients to these clinical trainees. They'll get assessed and they'll get paired with whichever trainee they believe will be the best fit. And we have a room in the back that is actually our counseling room. So this is really awesome for clients who may have like a wait time before they can see behavioral wellness, or maybe they don't have insurance to cover mental health support, so they can come seek our services for free. And finally, we just have a team of caring adults. All of our staff use a positive youth development model. We encourage youth-centered goals. You know, we might have our own opinions of what we think a client should do or what path would be good for them, but that's not our place to tell them. It's really what they're ready for and what they want to do. So we will always make sure that we're doing what the client wants, what they want to work on. and just go at their pace, whether they meet with us weekly or whether they keep contact with us once a month. So our staff, my supervisor is Jan Land here. He's the program director. I am the coordinator, and we have 3 super awesome case managers, Renee, who I believe may be on the call. Yeah, he's on the call. Kayla and Leandra, who is also a volunteer through AmeriCorps. We have this slide, but it's not very relevant to this conversation, but that's one of the tours that we gave. And then just a little thank you. And we have our supervisor's phone number and email. Otherwise, if you guys are interested, I can also provide my email and just our general office phone number in the comments if anyone has any questions or concerns. So that is my very quick little spiel on the Haley Street Navigation Center and the services that we offer. Let me figure out how to stop sharing.
Muted. Thank you for sharing. And, if anyone has any questions, now would be the time to any comments or questions for Danielle. And I'm sorry if I missed this in the beginning, but what are your hours of operation?
Yes, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to stop sharing. So we have drop-ins from 9 to 1. So basically walk-ins, you can just come in anytime 9 to 1, Monday through Saturday. And clients are welcome to schedule appointments with us after 1, anytime between 1 and 5, but they do have to call us and schedule that ahead of time. But Monday through Saturday, we're open. I believe in the future, we are looking to be open 7 days a week, but we did cut it down to 6 just to kind of get used to the new setting and see how busy we were going to be. Awesome. If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to ask. And if anyone...
There is a question in the comments about the address.
Yes,
if you're able
the
to.
address is 701 East Haley. Very, very different location from our West Figueroa, but we're on East Haley now, and we're pretty excited to get to outreach with a new portion of the community. And if anyone knows how to stop sharing and can
at the bottom of your the Zoom screen, so don't worry about your PowerPoint.
Okay.
At the bottom, where you can raise your hand and stuff, you'll see share screen, and you should be able to click that, and that.
Yeah, I
stop
see.
Share.
I see new share.
Interesting.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Oh, I see it. Okay, there we go.
No worries.
But yeah, if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to ask them now. I will also put my email in the chat and our office phone number, and you guys can contact us that way if you have any lingering questions. But thank you guys for giving me the time to share.
Of course. And then for our other partners, Renee, I think typically has been the one to join our RAP meetings now. So you will see either Renee or other staff from this team a part of our RAPs on a regular basis. So any youth homelessness needs that you're seeing, please bring them to the RAP, or of course you can reach out directly, but just know that that partnership is there. And I think with that, we were hoping to have a larger discussion around youth homelessness, but that might be something that we host in the future. But just as a reminder and kind of why this is all really fascinating with timing, the County of Santa Barbara was granted nearly $5.2 million for the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. And I don't know, Lucy, I don't want to put you on the spot, and I know that there's not too much to share right now, but if you can speak to the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program and kind of where you all are with that process and kind of what to expect in the near future.
Sure. I'm actually going to, in a second, put a link in the chat. I know that they've had some listening sessions, and they just sent out a survey to get feedback from people. And I think YFS is actually engaged in the YHDP process as well. So they can probably, they're more involved than I am these days.
But yeah, just really amazing opportunity for our community. I think we were one of 17 throughout the state or throughout the nation that received funding specifically for youth homelessness. So more of that to come. And again, if you have any other questions, you can reach out to Danielle or Renee, or always reach out to SBAC and we can connect you to the appropriate person.
Can I make a quick announcement having to do with that?
Oh, of course.
So actually, we did have a community listening session where we invited a lot of service providers, young adults, education partners to kind of give their input on what they believe is needed based off, what your experience is working with the homeless population in Santa Barbara. So we are actually having another in-person event next week on Tuesday. I think that they are sending out invites this week and going to follow up with an agenda. It will be in Solving at a mission. I don't remember the exact name of the mission, but if you guys are interested, San Ynez mission, it will be there from, I believe, 9 to 5. I can follow up with like the actual flyer and details, but just wanted to throw that out there if anyone is free next Tuesday and able to join that kind of community listening session. Everyone's welcome, and your input and experience is greatly appreciated.
And Lucille put in the chat a link to that questionnaire for youth and young adults, that assessment that Danielle mentioned. So there is an opportunity to just fill out the link as well. Okay, well, thank you. And Al is on the phone. We were going to move to CityNet next.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, well, good afternoon. Yeah, so we wanted to just give you guys a brief update on just how the nights and weekends have been going. And I'll give you just some brief numbers that I have, what we've been going, just to see the difference, and definitely want some feedback from the community in regards to it. So in this process, we went out there. We try to identify them just as encounters, engagements, and like client contacts. So when we encounter an individual, that's someone that we're able to see as we're walking through the, through the areas, and not necessarily have engaged them yet. It's someone that's either we walk by, we try to make contact, and they don't, want to have a conversation. They might be sleeping, whatever the circumstances. And from that, we were initially in the beginning, we were seeing about 20 to 30 that we would be contacting and encountering. Since the numbers have kind of dropped down, they went more closer to about the 18 to 20 range. And with engagement was more about the 12 to 15. And right now we're between like 8 and 10 of like actual engagements with new individuals that we were initially encountering, but now being able to create that engagement with that. Along with client contact. The next step of that is client engagement, right? That means that they had enrolled with the services and are now accepting services. So it's a process that we kind of want you guys to understand, so that we're working on. But the number of encounters have definitely dropped since we've started. The next step of that we've been doing is really engaging ourselves with the community, with the businesses. We've had days where we've engaged up to 28 businesses. So we've stopped by, introduced ourselves, left our cards. Another day we've had 23, and obviously the amount of businesses we have, they've dwindled down. So that's also, we've had 15, 8, multiple days where we've, now made face, which I think is huge in the community, to create that bridge between the concerns in the community and where they're coming from, right? Being that middle point, that point of contact, that, face to say, now I know who to contact. Now I know John, now I know Melissa, now I know Christina, to identify who they can contact before anything escalates to possibly PD being contacted, or just continue growing from there. So we've made a huge, I would say, impact on being able to now, meet managers, get contact with owners, just to let them know, the businesses know that we have services specifically Thursday through Sunday till 10 p.m. I have a quick short breakdown. I won't go through it all, of kind of like the workflow of our team. So with this area, we have teams that work from 11:30 till 8 p.m. and we have other teams that work from 7:30 to 6 p.m. So in the later afternoons, I would say after 4 and 5 p.m. to either 6 p.m. but primarily to the 10 p.m. is where the primary focus is on the downtown area. We have areas we're still covering the waterfront, still covering the beach, still cover the east side, still do all the areas in the city that we need. But it now focuses in the later afternoon to like the parks, the train stations in that area that cover it. The parking lots is an area that we specifically have a time throughout the day that we focus on the parking lot. So we go drive by to each parking lot, start checking the stairwells, and just going through specifically blocks. So we've got concerns on different areas, whether it's the 1100 block, the 500 block. So now we're making specific times that we try to go and we're able to mix and match them. But it's usually between the 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock range where we're hitting like the downtown 400 block down to like the 1300 block of State Street. I can say, just getting feedback from the community and from business owners, there's been some hot spots that we've identified. And with those hot spots, now we're making it like a daily check-in with specific businesses, with specific areas. And I've already got some feedback of like the difference that it's made. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of a brief breakdown of the areas that we're hitting, the times that we're there. And if we haven't reached any of the businesses or anyone that would like to be contacted, please put that in the chat because we want to definitely get out there so you get more familiar with us and to be able to come and help any concerns that we have in the community. Is there any questions?
I have a question. Since we do have now representatives for youth and kind of younger adults. I mean, is that something that you're seeing on State Street? Individuals in need around that age range?
I can definitely say overall, I guess this is not necessarily in this area, but in the community, it's grown a little bit more than we would probably like. But in the downtown areas, there are these times I can think of 2 individuals that are that fall within that range of youth. And we can definitely now, I'm a lot more familiar with Jan as lately, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Danielle. But now it's a beautiful thing to have a resource like that and a connection like that to be able to, connect those younger population. And it's definitely a smaller population, which we obviously don't want growing to, but I haven't seen a major concern, but there are a couple off the top of my head that I can think of.
Okay. And then Jacqueline, I see your comment in the chat, and I definitely think City-Net can follow up with you, but if you'd like to just have a moment to share what you're seeing, you can definitely do that now during the call.
Yeah, I just we only open from 12 to 6 now, and you're kind of inspiring me to stay open a little later. And I came on late to this call. So is the old sobering center, is that your where this is the navigation center? Are we talking about the navigation center? I did come on late.
The navigation center that was being discussed is the new youth day center that's taking place on Haley Street.
Okay, I did come on late, so rather than wasting time, I'd like somebody to call me if possible.
Okay.
I can
definitely
follow up
give
with
you a
you
call,
on that.
Jackie.
What?
I can definitely give you a call as well.
Yeah, just to keep me updated. I haven't been on this call in a while.
Okay. But I mean,
Okay.
if you're definitely seeing any activity that's prohibiting customers from engaging in your business, any illegal activities, disturbances like that, you feel free to share during this call. You're not going to be taking anyone's time.
I'm not, no, I have nobody to complain about right now. Actually. So,
Okay.
but should I be still contacting the ambassadors? Or is this a new route we're supposed to go through?
Yeah,
Jackie, this will be more of a direct route once we have a few months to settle in and see, the capacity of City-Net to be able to respond to needs. But they are and have already established a hotline number that can be called directly for the night and weekend team. But until then, downtown ambassadors are great for you to engage with and let them know if you have concerns, or you can contact Liz Stotts or myself directly through the city. And then we're able to route your concerns.
I don't want to be rude, but who are you? Oh, wait, I see it. Barbara.
It's
Anderson.
Barbara.
Oh,
Hi.
yeah. Hi. Hi.
Yeah, so I'll
Yeah,
put my
thank you,
email
guys.
and
I think
Liz
it's
will put her
better,
email
but
in
we
the chat
only
as
open
well.
12 to 6 now, and I'm thinking of staying open a little later. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, hi. Nice to meet you guys again.
It's nice to
Thank
have you back, Jacqueline. I'm back.
Thank you.
I remember who you are now.
Yeah, hi. I know. I'm trying my best here. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay.
Liz, you have your hand up. You're muted if you're trying to speak.
Yes, I am. Sorry about that. Yeah, just raised it also just so that Jackie could see where I am, and I was about to put my email in the chat. And yeah, I think Sergio was also from the ambassadors program was also saying, and the ambassadors are still there. CityNet is specific for homeless engagement, and they do talk extensively. So if you do contact the ambassadors and it relates to homelessness, it will be sent to them. But we also are available to talk with you directly, to talk about the various programs and to address whatever concerns you do have that need to be addressed. So I'll also be putting my email in the chat.
And Jacqueline, I know you've emailed me a couple of times, but I know you're not always going to be able to attend these meetings, but always feel free to reach out. You have a
No,
few ways.
I do. My reflex is to call the police department. And I've learned over time that I mean, it's just my reflexes. It has been because I've been here for so long, and that's always, and now I know to use other resources. It's just hard for me to, not hard, but when I don't know, maybe I
Yeah.
overreact. I don't know what to say, but anyways, no, we're fine. We're fine. And I think it's gotten better actually. So yeah, but
Oh,
I
great.
just, I finally got used to the ambassadors, and now there's somebody else we're going to call is, I guess, my question here. Is there somebody else we're supposed to call?
Yeah, Jackie, we're just, I mean, I think just over a month into our night and weekend outreach. So you're right. I mean, the instinct has been for folks to call the non-emergency line with the police department or reach out to downtown ambassadors if they see them. But this is brand new presence that we've never had before. So we're really hoping that we can, avoid that regular interaction with PD for non-emergency like incidents, and that homeless outreach is there and available. So just be a little bit patient as we transition so that you can
I'm
be able to
fine.
yeah,
I think
call a
it's good. I
hotline
think
number
it's gotten
directly.
better. I hate to say it,
But
I
yeah,
think
let
it's
us know if it's not an emergency. Liz and I can help her out. And Al and his team are super responsive.
Al. Okay. Al. Okay. Is Sergio still with us?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And so now we'll move to some SB Act updates that we have. Let me share my screen. You see it all right?
I can see the Santa blazer just perfectly in that photo.
No, just like
It looks pretty clear.
Best blazer this year.
yes. You outshined everyone during the holidays. Let me see. Okay. I've mentioned before, but here's a flyer that we will be circulating after this meeting. Our April walk is going to be more of a kind of like a discussion, Homeless 101 training that'll be taking place along the waterfront. And so it's going to be April 4th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. The usual group in terms of city staff, outreach providers, you all are invited, but we are really hoping to engage in the community and have a discussion around the state of homelessness in the city of Santa Barbara and all the work that you all are doing in supporting our unhoused population. So I just wanted to put this on everyone's calendar, and you will see this in your emails, but please just circulate within your networks, mark your calendars, and I look forward to having this new walkabout kind of format where we're able to just come together as a community and have a conversation around homelessness in the city. So that'll be taking place April 4th from 3 to 4:30. And then next month on the 19th, we also have our working groups, which, just as a reminder, we've officially partnered with the Santa Barbara County Continuum of Care to host these working groups. And so those working groups consist of homelessness prevention and retention, increasing income, including benefits and employment, and looking at shortening the length of time homeless. So the next meeting is going to be on the 19th, and you'll see the various times that those meetings will be taking place on that Wednesday. Again, the format has changed slightly, so all of the meetings will be taking place in one day. So it's going to be a long one, but I think it's a lot more productive for us to be able to just get through those meetings and have some really important discussions. For instance, shortening length of time homeless. We had a really good conversation in February during our first session, and really kind of decided that as an avenue for us to engage the community, first time homeless or individuals that might be experiencing homelessness for the first time or at risk of experiencing homelessness for the first time, that looking at 211 as kind of that first point of contact to engage in services is the avenue and direction that we want to go to. So now we're looking at 211 as a system and really looking at how to develop it and grow so we can reach more individuals and have information that is on 211 more up to date and relevant to people's needs as they call in. And so I think with the working groups, we also wanted to mention, I'm gonna unshare this really quick. We have a new staff member that has joined SB Act that'll also be working on our lived experience working group. So I wanted to just take a moment to introduce. One second, I need to stop my share. And introduce her, sorry. Doing two things at once. Eric, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to introduce everybody to Marie Corbin, who's on the call. I know some of you know her. Marie has her own nonprofit, Project Heal, that comes to a couple of the navigation centers and has done a lot of good work around this issue. She's our new leader of the lived experience working group. And one of the things the group's really going to be focused on are these county working groups that Catherine was just talking about. We really want to bring a lived experience perspective to those groups. So Marie's going to be leading that effort, and I wanted to turn it over to her to say a few words.
Oh, great. Thank you, Eric. Well, hi, everybody. Yes, I do know some people on the call and some people I do not know. I'm very excited about this project, the work group project, because like as Eric is saying, you know, I'm already doing work like this in the community, working around homelessness issues and mental health issues and trying to change policies. And so I'm really looking forward to working with you all.
And then I know it's, I mean, you just started, I think last week, was it? But
Yeah.
if you're Eric, I know you're thinking about some projects outside of the working groups for lived experience individuals to kind of participate in. I don't know if that's something that you can just share with the group.
Yeah, the project the group came up with was to distribute socks and sleeping bags to people experiencing homelessness in the area, and hopefully also give out information about the navigation centers. So we hope to do that hopefully starting next week.
And I think though, I mean, using the hygiene kits and socks as a mechanism for a peer support model. I think that's something that we're really hearing amongst our lived experience group of really just wanting that peer-to-peer interaction and engagement. because who better to understand where people are than people that have been there. Marie, your hand was up.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that because just so everyone knows, yes, I am, doing my own work, but I also have been homeless here in this county. So I'm coming with that lived experience because I was homeless, and then I, went and did the work and got housing, which was not an easy feat. And so, I'm really looking forward to bringing my perspective to the groups and to the meetings. And, so I'll be giving it from two perspectives. One is a person who is a leader in the community and loves to give back, but then also someone who's done, been there before. And I know the system, and I'm hoping to help some people along the way. That's it.
And then we, Eric and Marie, our working group currently, our lived experience working group is currently meeting every other week. Is it?
Yes, that's right. So we're meeting tomorrow.
And so then I think we have a set group of individuals that participate regularly in our lived experience working group, but it's always open to other individuals. If the various outreach teams that are on the call today, if you're working with someone that's really interested in giving feedback to the system, or even, feedback on shelter services that they're receiving, they're more than welcome to participate in our working group there and give that feedback, and know that we are working with city, county, different jurisdictions to make sure that all of that is being utilized when we're making decisions about funding and programming. So that's, again, it's an open opportunity for anyone that's interested. Feel free to reach out to Eric if you know someone that is wanting to join, and Marie. And so this is more of a discussion for our neighborhood navigation centers. We wanted to bring to the group to get some feedback and input as we plan for the future. I think this year is a little bit of an outlier with all the storms and rain that we've been getting, but I think it is something that's going to become probably more common in our community of having more rain. So as of right now, our operations stand that while it's still raining, our NNCs operate. They're still in full operation where we have staffing available, meals. I know sometimes it's challenging for providers to get there because of other work that they have to do in preparation for a storm or with the rain. And so we're really kind of wanting to get y'all's feedback on, do you think it's still, I don't want to say appropriate, but during storms, inclement weather, days where it's just going to be really heavy rain, operating a neighborhood navigation center? I think a perspective that we're seeing is more recently, outreach providers with the heavy rain are really focusing on engaging individuals that are potentially along the riverbeds, waterways, trying to encourage people to get to high shelter, try to go into shelter, take advantage of the warming centers. And so a lot of those efforts and resources go to that versus being at a neighborhood navigation center during those times and offering services there. So it becomes a little bit more challenging when we want to create a space for individuals to come and receive services, but then a lot of the service providers might not be there at the time as we're managing storm expectations. Jacqueline, your
I
hand
kind of have
up.
a question on that. That comment or
Oh,
question?
of course, yeah.
Are you talking about people that are newly in town that don't understand how it works? Or are you talking about people that know to go to this place or that place, other than social services, but they know they can go sleep at a friend's house on the worst nights? Are we talking about new people or old people? Or,
I mean,
or
it's
do we know?
really,
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's both, right? We tend to have a portion of our population that do go to neighborhood navigation centers on a consistent basis. And so we're also trying to outreach to new people that might not know about the warming centers, to take advantage of those services there. So it's a little bit of both, of engaging with new and regular individuals.
Just the regular people must know that they must have, anyways, go on. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah. And then Lucille's comment in the chat about having outreach available for transporting and getting people to the warming centers. So, which is, we 100% agree that we don't want to take any of those efforts or that time and effort away from outreach providers at that time.
Is there a designated place that the Freedom Warming Center is at? Because I think Renee follows it and it seems to change. How would we go about like being updated on where the most current one will be?
Information is to get onto their email list. They'll send out 40 notifications 48 hours in advance typically. And they'll also post it to their Facebook page. So it does rotate in each community. So each church or site signs up. And I'm sorry, I realize Anais is on here and can answer that too.
Thank you.
You were on a roll. You got it.
And so that's also part of the challenge as to why outreach has to kind of dedicate a lot of those efforts leading into a storm, because the locations rotate. And so they're then having to work to connect with individuals that are unsheltered to let them know where the warming center is going to be taking place. I don't know if Rich, if you had anything to add to that.
No, I think like you're covering mostly of what we've been talking about, and thank you for covering a little bit about how the warming centers do get the word out. It is just something that we're considering as we do. The most important part of a lot of the NNC things that we do have is not only building community, but connecting people with service provision. And if it's raining and that's not able to happen, then it doesn't really seem appropriate to have it happening. And so we're just trying to figure out what that next step is. And if we do approach that route, how do we do that in a way where we make sure that we get all the information out? So we're just trying to cover all of our bases, and it is just something that we're considering, but it's also something that we've not really faced before, because this year has been especially different with rain. Whereas before, whenever we have had rain, things would continue as normal and it hasn't been that big of a deal. We're not seeing that same thing happening this year. So we're just trying to problem solve it. Thank you.
I think you're highlighting the need for a physical daytime navigation center site that actually can keep people warm as they're getting services.
Is that what that is? I didn't.
Yeah, I think that might be it. I think that might be it. Again, I just want to reiterate for the city, it's one of our top priorities. We're continuing to search for sites, vet locations, and as they emerge as ideal, we are starting to kind of spread the word and ask for opinions and input for that too. So, one, just wanted to note highest priority in terms of what we're working on, along with additional storage for personal belongings. So those are our top two, outside of night and weekend outreach, which we were able to actually achieve because of Liz's resourcefulness on dollars and outreach contracts. So, and I think the second piece is we, tend to have the folks that don't frequent the warming centers or are open to shelter, and they seek refuge in areas that provide some level of coverage. And so I just put out for consideration to the neighborhood navigation centers that if there's any way to shift the meal from in-person serving the meal and breaking bread together to much like we did during COVID-19, where it could be pre-packaged or a sandwich or something, and that there is a team of faith-based volunteers that can go out and try to, help folks that are seeking refuge in those alcoves, underpasses, et cetera, that I know would welcome, some level of nourishment while they're out there and trying to fare the weather. So But having said that, we just want people to be safe in general. And I think it's another impact that we're seeing with providers is that we don't want teams out when there's flood watches and warnings and advisories, and we're asking people to shelter in place as well. So keeping safety as number one, and two, if there could be some level of flexibility of meeting folks where they're at, and three, we're still looking for that physical site. So
Okay, well, again, we just wanted to put the feelers out there and kind of bring that to you all. And if you think of anything or have any feedback for us, feel free to reach out. We have 15 minutes left. In terms of the agenda, we just had a reminder for you all. I think majority of you all probably have already participated in our Act on Homelessness collaborative survey for feedback that we're looking to collect from all of our partners. But if not, one final email reminder was sent out earlier this week. Please let me know if you haven't received that. I can forward that to you. But during our next all-call wrap, which is on April 19th, we will be sharing the results of those surveys, as well as just trying to have a overall our larger discussion around our collaborative in the next phase and what we want to keep, what we would like to improve upon, and just what are some areas of focus that we'd like to refocus on, and kind of as we look to the future with new initiatives around homelessness that we can incorporate. So that's really, again, if you haven't already completed that, please take the time. It should take about 10 minutes to complete. And our next all-call wrap on the 19th, we will be reviewing that with you all and just having that discussion as we look to the future for our Act on Homelessness. Thank you for that. I don't know if we want to take a couple of minutes with the labor line taking place tomorrow, if there's just anything from the city's perspective in terms of preparation, last minute discussion for tomorrow, or if CityNet and Path, Odin, I know you're on the call, if you were able to go out and make some last minute connections and kind of what it's looking like right now in preparation for tomorrow. Okay.
just has some background, I think, because we've only been talking about this on the East Side wrap because it impacts the East Side neighborhood. That, you know, we've been working to address some of the issues that we've been observing at the labor line to make sure that the labor line is available for day laborers to solicit day work. So if anyone has any questions, just more detail is needed there, please feel free to contact me. Our sustainability and resilience department is leading the effort. So all communication has been kind of spearheaded through that department, but Liz, Stotts, and myself are available for any questions. Again, just like other areas that, you know, we try to really focus outreach to folks experiencing homelessness, to just, you know, to build receptivity to shelter and services. Odin and Good Samaritan and CityNet have all been working in the area to help folks that are in need. We have folks that have moved from encampments and creek beds and waterways because of the recent series of storms. We've had day laborers that are spending the night there because they're also experiencing homelessness. So the complexity of issues that we're dealing with at that location has required an all hands on deck approach. Jackie, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I do actually, talking about the labor line. The labor line has been here for years and years and years, and it's very needed in this town.
Yeah.
So are there people just trying to destroy it, or are people using it as drug dealing dens or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things going on. You're right. We want the labor line to be available for its intended use, because it has for a couple of decades now. So what we've seen are folks that are frequenting the area, sleeping overnight, building kind of encampment-like settings.
Is it sleeping or is it drugs?
Well, there is some drug activity in the evenings. Patrol through the police department has helped address some of the illegal activity that's occurring. But the effort that we're speaking about today is to help return the labor line to its intended use. So
Thank you, because we need the labor line as
yeah,
its
so the fact
intended
that
use.
it's encampments, thank you so much for affirming that, because it's been a difficult decision to kind of have a targeted approach to this region. One, because we are both communicating to day laborers that we want them to feel comfortable again in that area and soliciting work for their purposes. But the encampments and folks that are spending the night there have been pushing out the day laborers to other parts, which, as
Not
you know,
cool.
that's
Hate to use
that's the
that term.
only location for them to legally solicit day work. So we're fencing the area starting Thursday afternoon, but
Does it
still,
extend over on Noble, over by the post office? Because that's where the real problem is. It's between Noble and the post office behind Milpas.
yeah, the whole region on the Lower East Side, I would say for the past, Catherine, I think 7 months has it been, has been an all hands on deck effort. So that's with all outreach teams across service providers, our police department, other city departments and staff. We really want to focus on individuals that have a diversity of needs in the region, right? Because it's not just folks that come to and from PATH, it's people experiencing vehicular homelessness. It's the day laborers that are experiencing homelessness. It's those who are housing insecure.
Why not just enforcing litter laws? I hate to bring, nobody's listening to this conversation right now, right? This isn't being recorded. But why not just enforce litter laws? Basic litter laws.
So it is, this meeting is being recorded.
Oh, okay, sorry.
First and second. So really, litter has actually for us, been the area where we've been able to facilitate the most improvement. Sustainability and Resilience has had contractors there 2-3 times a week regularly for almost a year now. But you're right, just folks residing in the area create enough impact that it's hard to manage even with that regular schedule. So litter laws aren't going to do it, but what we need to prioritize is getting folks help and services and shelter, right? So that's been our priority. And then communicating to day laborers that yes, we want them to feel comfortable soliciting work there. We are fencing the area, but the curb is still available for a period of time, just again to try to reduce the number of folks that are spending the night there overnight and the number of folks that are spending time during the day that are actually pushing day laborers out of the area.
I won't say anything else, but I'm totally for restoring it to its purpose.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to spread the word as much as we can, just because we want day laborers to know that this is not fencing to keep them away at all. And honestly, for us to have some sort of concerted outreach effort and a timeline for when, again, we're trying to return that area back to day labor use actually helps sometimes incentivize people to say yes to shelter and services. So we've actually been able to get a couple of people to, positively respond to outreach, as well as continuing to build rapport with folks that we haven't reached before. I think it was last week, Catherine Rescue Mission shared with us that they have seen new guests at Rescue Mission from the day labor line that again, are experiencing homelessness and need that shelter and support. So I will say, although complex in the approach that's needed there, it's actually yielded some really positive outcomes for folks that need support.
And then Marie, the labor line is on Yananali Street, right across the way from the Rescue Mission. And I've started to reach out to the one organization that Barbara and Liz shared with me for immigration services. I did reach out and I'm reaching out to others. So hopefully in the near future, we can host like a special service at the Rescue Mission for individuals that are undocumented and having more than one provider ideally there to help kind of triage and get people connected to the appropriate services. So that is something that we are working on to host at the Neighborhood Navigation Center on Wednesday at the Rescue Mission. All right. That is our agenda for today. We're a few minutes early, but you get a couple of minutes back for your day, so that's good. Unless someone has any last minute comments, questions. No? All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. And we will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, stop.